There is a famous saying from Adam Smith, quote, "Mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent." Now, sadly, this type of suicidal empathy is far too common on the left. Zero bail laws, reduced sentences, drop charges, repeat violent offenders let out on the streets over and over and over again. And in the case of Lawrence Reed, he was let back out into society 49 times before lighting this innocent woman on fire on the city's transit system. Now, as we just discussed, Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson, clearly doesn't really care about peaceful, law-abiding Americans in his city, called it, as we just reported, an isolated incident. Take a look at the isolated incident talk.
A tragedy, and, you know, it's the tragedy of one of the worst of its kind. And we're hoping, of course, that, you know, everyone can heal in this moment. Look, my responsibility is to build the safest, most affordable big city in America. The investments that we are making are certainly moving us in that direction. This is an isolated incident. I mean, I don't see this as some sort of trend.
Mayor Johnson is simply lying. His city is a violent, dangerous disaster. Now, this was the opposite of an isolated incident. Look at the analysis from the IllinoisPolicy.org. There is roughly one crime committed every 3 hours on Chicago's transit system every single solitary day. In fact, despite increased spending on security, crime on Chicago's CTA is still higher than pre-pandemic levels. Now, here are just a few examples, recent ones. CBS News, quote, "Suspect charged in shooting that killed 4 sleeping people on CTA Blue Line train." ABC, quote, "Man killed in West Loop shootout with CTA worker remembered as a beloved doorman." CBS, quote, "Woman charged with murder in CTA Red Line platform shooting on Chicago's South Side." Fox 32, quote, "Man stabbed to death on Blue Line train." We could spend all night and show you every horrific headline. This is anything but rare or random in terms of what happens in Chicago every day. Every weekend, we know the high number of shootings that will take place and the murders that will happen. You can predict it as the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Now, clearly, Mayor Johnson needs a reality check. Chicago needs a new mayor. Illinois needs a new governor. But that's not all. Major blue cities all across the country, many are plagued by this kind of violent crime, despite massive budgets that they have. The question everyone has to ask is why? The answer is obvious. Lawrence Reed was arrested nearly 50 times before lighting an innocent woman on fire, including 13 serious charges since 2017, including multiple counts of battery, aggravated arson. Why was he out on the streets? Brandon Johnson, why? Why do most of these high-profile cases nationwide involve a violent serial offender? On this show, since Barack Obama became president, we would scroll the names that nobody ever heard of before. Innocent people in Chicago, his hometown, shot and killed on any given weekend. The list got longer and longer and longer. Why didn't you hear about those names? Because they could not politicize it and weaponize it, especially against Donald Trump. It's because Democrats, from judges to politicians, they let them out of jail, often within moments of committing these violent acts. Instead of fixing these policies, Democratic mayors and governors, people like Brandon Johnson, J.B. Pritzker, they try to distract their constituents, and that's why so many are eager to attack President Trump. Let's blame him for everything. Dog bites, bee stings, you're feeling sad, blame Trump. Smear Republicans. Wash, rinse, repeat over and over and over again. Take a look.
So we know that the intentional attacks that are coming from the Trump administration and the extreme right in this country has very much been what I call it's an attempt to relitigate the Civil War. Right? They have not accepted the results that the North actually won, right? Because if you look at all of the attacks, it's not just black cities. He's going after education, housing, transportation, good paying jobs, and healthcare. Those are literally the 5 demands of descendants of slaves post-Civil War.
Right. Nobody is trying to relitigate the Civil War, but people are dying every day, every week in his city Others are getting robbed, harassed, beaten to a pulp. Take a look at this video showing a Chicago mom and her son getting beaten by a mob of very young bullies. Sadly, Mayor Brandon Johnson just doesn't seem to notice or care. And as a result, there will be more cruelty to innocent people, all in the name of mercy to repeat violent offenders. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.